Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So about 8 months before this whole apocalypse thing, I was let go from my job after trying to go back to work after a bit of a break because about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I started developing a really serious illness. And this is the first time, it's not the first time that I've been off work because of the illness, but it's the first time that I was never really able to see any sort of future ahead of me at all. Like before, I could think, okay, there's some treatment options available. I just need to get to some doctors and get some treatment and like manage this, and then I can go back to work. And I had a lot of hope. But this time has been very different because there's just really nothing that I can see can be done. And I've never been this sick before, to be honest. My point to this video is that I wanted to talk about managing depression during isolation and whether that's for you right now because of what's happening in the world, or whether that's because you do have an illness and you can't work at all, or maybe you can only work like part-time. For the first little while, I was so sick that I could honestly do nothing but watch TV, and that is all I did for like probably 6 months. I think it was like 6 months that I just sat and watched TV, and it was crazy. It was like 8 hours a day. Like I wasn't eating very much. I wasn't able to. I was like super sick. I could barely like walk to my bathroom, which is like a couple feet away. Like I was really sick. Like I'm telling you, I should have been in the hospital. So if you're that sick, I mean, it's understandable that you're not going to be able to do anything, but I'm going to give you guys some ideas based on what I've been doing that might help you right now in your situation. So isolation and depression are two very different things, obviously, but isolation tends to lead to depression because we all need people around us, and we all need things to do, and we all need things that help us feel like we're accomplishing something and reaching goals and doing something with our lives and contributing. Choosing 3 things a day really helps me because it's not too many things, it's not too little things. It depends on the quality of the things too, but I mean, so if I can accomplish those things really easy, I'll do other stuff, but especially if it's a bad day, I'll just choose those 3 things. Sometimes I can't even accomplish that. And that's fine too. So some days it'll be like 3 things that I manage, some days 1 thing, some days like, I don't know, 10 things. And all of it's okay, right? I just go by the day, how I'm feeling. But at least I have a list and I have a structure of some sort. And I keep a notebook and I write those things down. So I'll write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then under that I'll write, things each day that I want to get done. Because food is so important for our energy and our mental health and just our health in general, I keep a food tracker. This is more specific to my health issues too because I have digestive issues. So I've been tracking all of my food on FitDay, and there's lots of other trackers online. It's just an online website that you go to and you can type in the food that you ate and the amount, and then you can get the general amount of calories, fat, carbohydrates, and some of the micronutrients as well, that, the vitamins and minerals that are in those foods. And that kind of helps me see whether I'm eating enough, I'm eating too much. I mean, for me, it's never been too much. I can't get enough in, but I'll see how little I'm eating, and that also helps me talk to my doctors about it too. I do some form of movement every single day. I do physiotherapy most days because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and that is one of the main things for management. And then I also walk stairs up and down. I live on the 10th floor of a condo, so even when I'm having a really bad day, I'll try to just like really slowly and carefully walk up the stairs. I'll even hold a handrail. Like, it depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling better, sometimes it'll be more vigorous. Right now, I'm taking 10 minutes out of my day every day on top of that just to go outside and get some sun and make sure that I'm getting my vitamin D in. I bought some houseplants about 7 months ago because I absolutely love plants, and I felt like I needed something to just like take care of. I do have a cat, but I felt like I wanted something more to take care of. So I bought some houseplants. One of them was a wandering Jew. Another one was a pothos, because they're really easy to take care of and they're good for low light, which is what I have in my condo. I also just bought a rose plant. because I noticed that my neighbor had one. So I thought maybe it'll do okay. And it's actually shooting some new sprout on it, which is really cool because I thought it might be dead when I bought it. I'm not really sure. So I know I'm doing everything right to care for it. I think it's just a matter of waiting and seeing and spending a little bit more time on it. One of the first things that I wanted to do was start a volunteer job, and I started this way back, I think like 6 months ago. And I went through this like lengthy few month process of trying to do this phone pal situation where you would call up somebody who's isolated and elderly and spend some time every week talking with them, checking in with them. And I really, really wanted to do this, and I was so excited. And then they just like didn't get back to me after I went through the whole process and did the criminal record check, and that was fine and it went through. But then like they changed the person who was like doing it, like coordinating, changed roles and left or something. And like, I don't know, something just got screwed up, and then this whole like apocalypse thing happened, and then like and then basically like I think that threw everything off, and so then they didn't even really know who I was anymore, and I'm like, oh. So I went and I tried to do another one, and I did that for a couple months, and I couldn't really get into it. It was very disorganized. So I've started a new one last week, and now I think this one's like finally the one. But even if it isn't, there's tons of different volunteer positions out there, so I don't mind. I'm probably going to take on a second one once I get the handle of this one. I'm constantly researching different things that I can do from home, different things that I can learn. I'm constantly thinking about what could I do for a job part-time from home. And, just in case like in the future, I can actually manage that. And so that's what I've just been doing for the last 6 months or so. I've been trying to look into different things I could do. And I did find this social media marketing course that's 40 hours long from Google. It's totally free. They also have a whole bunch of other courses on there, stuff to do with leadership, to do with tech. Like they just have tons of stuff. It's really cool. And because I was sort of on this idea of potentially becoming a social media manager or maybe more so a content creator, I have been looking into that as an option too. And I've found other free courses besides Google. And also I started an Instagram account just, for fun, just to see if I could, implement some of these things that I'm learning online to do with social media marketing. And then I also started this YouTube channel. One night I sat down and I made this master list of goals. And I really love this master list because even when I'm just feeling really crappy, I can just look at it and feel like, okay, there is actually a lot of things for me to do. Like when I'm stuck in my head and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to spend my whole life at home, I just look at my list and I'm like, okay, no, wait a minute. There's like tons of stuff for me to do. There's tons of things for me to learn. There's tons of goals that I have. And I can still do them all from home. In fact, some of them I could even do when I was in the hospital recently. So there is stuff for you to do. It just might take a little bit of thinking it through and figuring out what these things are and just finding these things. So like I said, when I first was off of work, I was watching way too much TV, and I was literally spending all of my time doing that. I would find some show that I really loved.
300 and leave it in for 35 minutes.
Thanks, Karen.
It's my take on Mexican lasagna.
Great.
Jeff and I can't imagine what you're going through.
Well, it's like if Jeff got hit by a car and died suddenly and violently. Like that.
And then I would just go through the whole thing every single day, all day, and then just finish it in a couple weeks. And this would be 6 seasons of something. I don't know if it was 6 seasons, maybe that's an exaggeration, maybe 4 seasons or something. But that's a lot of TV time. So basically I was spending so much time doing this, and then I would be sad because my show was over, and then I would be sad because I had to part ways with those characters. And it was just feeding the depression because I was just sitting there doing nothing. But again, like I said, I was so sick that it was really hard to do anything except literally just lay on the couch or lay in bed. But yes, there's books. But I didn't have any books because all of my books are at another location right now in storage. But what I ended up doing was I decided that I would take my Netflix and my Prime account, and I would just choose 2 shows that I really, really, really loved. And then I would watch one of those shows, just one episode from one show on Mondays, and then another episode from the other show on Fridays. And then the rest of the time I would choose some other shows that like I wasn't really that into that I would watch throughout the rest of the week. And then weekends would be more reserved for like movies when I'm like have a bit more time and I'm more focused on like chores like laundry. So that's kind of how I've rationed my Netflix and TV time because you can really blow through that kind of stuff and it makes you feel really bad mentally to just like constantly watch TV, and you can get really stuck in that and just totally forget about the other life goals that you have. About 3 months ago, I started a really strict regimen of 30 minutes of mindfulness a day, and I just use the same type of guided meditation every day. I just make sure that I do it every day at that specific time. So that's actually something that I have in my notebook as like a mandatory. It's like I actually put it down as though it's an appointment. Depending on your life and what's going on right now for you and your level of depression, you may not be able to accomplish more than like one thing. But if it's that one thing, just make sure that you get out of bed and you actually put some clothes on. Like that's all you really need to do to start lifting your mood up. And then all these other little things are just like little things to just like inch it up a little bit more, you know, like a little bit at a time. I hope this video has helped you guys, and I'd really love to know what it is that you do or how you're managing right now. Like, how are you coping with everything that's going on right now? Because it is crazy out there, right? Like, we have our own stuff to deal with, and then we have like the world's problems, it feels like. Like, I know for my fiance, his friends have all gotten together with us, and they've made it a Saturday night ritual right now to like do Netflix parties and watch some movies, right? So like we all talk about what movie we want to watch next time, and then we just choose something and we all watch it together, and then we like have a video chat after and like talk about it. So that's it for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Know that I'm rooting for you no matter what you're going through, and I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I hope that you join me again.